So by the time the 1950s came around, Cadillac was kind of the gold standard of automobiles. They were the gold standard in looks, luxury, features, and general comfort. By the time 1957 came around, they had better engines and made much more power than pretty much anybody else out there. It was a 365 cubic inch engine making 300 horsepower, and it was tied to a 4-speed automatic transmission, which is highly unusual for the time, considering everything was either 2 or 3 speeds. And that 4-speed is so smooth it feels like a 2-speed transmission. 2 of the gears you don't even feel shift at all. They were coming out with some other stuff at the time, stuff like the X-Frame, which really didn't work out well at all. They're some of the worst cars in a wreck. But still, it was the gold standard, and it was the reason why everything was called a Cadillac. You know, it was the Cadillac of sandwiches or the Cadillac of beers, whatever. But it was because of these cars. So my story with this car starts about 10 or 11 years ago. Had to be around 2010, 2011, 2012, somewhere in there. But my mom was looking for a car on Craigslist. She wasn't looking for anything specific. She was just, searching for 50s cars in general. And she came across an ad for this 1957 Cadillac Coupe Deville. It was running. It wasn't driving because I think the brakes were shot on it. But the biggest problem it had was the top was all bashed in on it. And what had happened with this car is it wasn't in Hurricane Katrina, but it was in a nearby Texas town that took a lot of wind, and because of that, a tree fell right on top of its noggin up here and really bashed it in. It was pretty late at night. It had to be around 10 o'clock at night, and she was going to call about it, and it's like, it's kind of late at night. The guy may not answer. He may be a morning person. It's like, well, I'm going to call him anyway and see if he's around. Calls him, guy answers and tells her the story about the car. It's running, it was driving, needs brakes fixed on it, but all that. And she's like, hey, can I come right now? And there's a pretty common theme with all of my stories. The car that I or my family wants is always on the other side of freaking Texas. Maybe I just live in the middle of nowhere, Texas. But it was about an hour and 45 minutes from where we lived. But the guy was like, yeah, sure, why not? Come on out. So it's okay, he gives the address, we're on the way. So we drive up there and look the car over, and it's as advertised, and my mom likes it and talks to the guy. The problem was I didn't bring a trailer, because at this time I didn't have a car hauler. All I had was a 16-foot utility trailer, and I knew there was no way this car was going to fit on it because I had hauled a 51 Cadillac on it before and it required modifications. But this guy was a classic car enthusiast, so he had a rollback truck, and he's like, hey, if you buy the thing, I'll deliver it for you tomorrow. And that's something we typically don't like to do. We like to haul it ourselves just because, liability, and do I trust this guy? But my mom liked him, and she said, yeah, let's do the deal. And we asked the guy, why did you let us come this late at night? It's like midnight at this point. And he had a piece of advice that I loved and I still use to this day. He said, I'm never too asleep to count money. And I just love that. I agree with him. I have sold cars at 3 o'clock in the morning. I've sold cars at 7 o'clock in the morning because I'm never too asleep to count money. So when I find these people that, I can only be available for a 15-minute window on the 23rd of every month, it's like, dude, why do you even list your car? I mean, are you that busy? Just count my money and let me take the car. But anyway, we made the deal with this guy to deliver the car out there. He said, I'll deliver it out there the next day. It won't be a problem. And the next day came around, and he was true to his word. He showed right up in the driveway with the car on the back. But he had a little story of his own. He said that morning a guy had called him, and the guy had been talking to him about the car. And he's like, hey, I want the car. And he's like, dude, I sold it last night. He's like, no, come on, you can't have sold it to this lady. He said, why don't you just give her money back? I'll come and give you full price for it. I'll even give you a little extra. He's like, dude, she has the title. There's nothing I can do about it. She owns the car. He's like, oh, well, whatever. So the guy was super honest, nothing interesting about that. Very interesting about that, I should say. But me and my dad worked on the car a little bit, and we got it running. We took it around to some car shows, and even in her significantly damaged state, it got a lot of attention. Never won any awards, which I didn't expect it to, but kids loved it, adults loved it, and I mean, when was the last time you saw a 1957 Cadillac? You just don't see them, especially a pink one. And yes, this car was originally factory pink. It's a little brighter now, but the original Mountain Laurel is a pink. So we decided a few years after that, hey, you know what, we're going to get this thing fixed up and really make it right. So I talked to a local body shop, and he said, yeah, you know, I can fix the top on this thing. It'll take me a couple of weeks and everything will be fine. A couple of weeks turned into 4 weeks, and you know, 4 weeks turned into 5 weeks. And we called this guy and we're like, hey, when's this car going to be done? Oh man, I got busy with insurance work, and I got to take care of all that before I can work on it. It's like, that's not what you said. Oh, well, you know, I got to take care of my insurance work, and I'll take care of yours when I can. It's like, well, what does that mean? He's like, well, it means I'll take care of it when I can get to it. It might be 6 months. I said, no, that don't work for us. We need this car now. And there was a few harsh words spoken, and it wound up with him saying, you know what, just come and get this pile out of my shop. It's like, suits me just fine. It's like, how much I owe? He said, don't even worry about the work I've done. Just get it out of here and never talk to me again. And I ran up there and got it before he changed his mind, because I didn't want to have to go through any legal crap to get my car back. But it got back here. My dad did the top, and it's been kind of sitting ever since, which is annoying. But the 64 T-Bird convertible came in, which diverted him off from it. If you watch my channel at all, you know that I started fixing it up with a roadkill. A running project is better than a car sitting on jack stands. And I painted it, and the paint job came out looking like hammered crap. I know I can do better than that. It disgusted me to no end, because the paint actually came out good. It was the prep work underneath that I screwed up so horribly. I was just so discouraged about that. I walked off from it for a little while, and you know, that was 2 going on 3 years ago. But there is good news about that story, because as soon as I'm done with the Buick over here, I'm going to work on this one next. The Buick has minor stuff left on it. I've pretty much got all the hard stuff out of the way. I still got to do the top and the paint job on it. But again, it'll be good practice for when I do this one. So this car will be upcoming more, and I will have it back on the road next year. And some other stuff that happened, you know, I changed careers and the virus hit, and everything just got so backed up and stalled on that. But this car story will come to an end when this car is back on the road. But yeah, that's been my story. So as always, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you're enjoying these videos and you want to see more. If you have a car story, drop a comment down below, because I'd love to hear it.